Hey guys, Hungry Cat here, and today I have some news to share with you. I recently completed a through hike of the 290-mile Benton MacKaye Trail, and I filmed it. With that footage, I created a short video series about the trail and my hike. And today I wanted to share a trailer for that video series with you all. So I'm at a local park right now. While you watch the trailer, I'm gonna head back to the house, and then when it's over, I'll tell you a little bit more about the trail. Enjoy! Alright, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the trailer for my BMT through hike. First, let's talk about the trail. The Benton MacKaye Trail is a 290-mile trail that runs through Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. The southern terminus is at Springer Mountain, really close to the southern end of the Appalachian Trail, and the northern terminus is at Baxter Creek Trailhead at the northern boundary of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. The BMT is named after Benton MacKaye, who 100 years ago put forth a written proposal that outlined his vision for what would become the Appalachian Trail. While the trail crisscrosses the AT several times, initially around the Springer Mountain and Three Forks area, and then later as it prepares to enter the Smokies, the BMT takes a much different path as it winds through the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So, if you've already hiked the Appalachian Trail through the Smokies, you'll get to see an entirely different side of the park on the BMT. Overall, the BMT felt much wilder and more remote than the Appalachian Trail, though I think this is largely due to the fact that I hardly saw any other hikers out there. I was halfway through the entire hike before I saw anyone else hiking it. The BMT was definitely a bit overgrown in some spots, but that kind of added to the feeling of really having an alone in the wild experience. Also, there are fewer conveniences and access points than on the AT, and while still not long at all by other trail standards, there were some longer water carries than what you might encounter on the Appalachian Trail heading up towards the Smokies. The Benton MacKaye Trail does not have a system of shelters like the AT. There's one shelter in Georgia, but only because it's on a relatively long stretch of private land, and it's actually the only place on that stretch of private land that you can legally camp. The trail also passes by one shelter in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park if you want to camp there, but you can always camp at a tent site there instead. All that said, logistics for the BMT really aren't that difficult and shouldn't be off-putting if you're considering hiking the trail. I'll probably make another video specifically to cover resupply and logistics for this hike, as well as gear that you might consider taking. So, yet another reason to subscribe and click the notification bell if you want to know when that video is released. As for my experience on the trail, I found it to be absolutely incredible. I loved it. 290 miles is kind of the perfect length for a long distance hike. It's long enough to where you really settle in and feel like a true thru hiker with that sense of freedom and spontaneity, but it's just short enough to where the hike doesn't feel like too much of a commitment away from everyday life and all of those things that come along with that. The trail scenery is very much like what you would find on the AT and the Southern Appalachians in general. I think the main difference between the AT and the BMT is that the BMT trail is a bit more rustic. It's less traveled, so it can be a little overgrown in places. On the upside, it's a lot less rocky than the AT in my opinion, and maybe that's because it just hasn't been worn down as much over time with as many hikers. The climbs on the BMT generally have fewer switchbacks than those in the AT, and they just tend to go straight up and down, which also plays into that natural, wild, rustic feel. But honestly, I didn't really feel like the BMT was significantly more physically difficult with the climbs than the AT. For my own hike, I averaged just over 17 miles a day, which is a very comfortable pace for me and gave me plenty of time to film and to relax and to contemplate at camp. I have to give a shout out to the BMT trail crews who volunteer to help maintain the trail. For the small number of hikers I saw on trail, I was very impressed with how well the trail was maintained. The trail was also quite clean. I always try and pick up trash wherever I hike, and I found myself going entire days without seeing a single piece of trash, which was incredibly awesome. However, this may change over time as more people hike the BMT, so I definitely encourage you to join me and try to make a habit of picking up stray bits of trash that you see on trail so we can all work together to keep it clean and wild and as wonderful as it deserves to be. I filmed the entire hike other than the times when it was just pouring down rain, and I chopped it up into short episodes. I really wanted to focus on bringing the hike to life for you all so that you can really get a sense for the trail, what it was like, and hopefully get inspired to go out and hike the BMT or do a thru hike or just pursue an adventure like that of your own. I really hope you enjoy the series. The first episode is going to air this coming Monday, and then I will release a new episode every week thereafter. If you like this video or got any value out of it, please do hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share it with a friend. Thank you so much for watching and showing your support, and I will see you in the next video.